She's the matriarch of the Bush family, but she is in some ways the matriarch of the Republican Party. She is only the second woman ever to be both the wife and the mother of presidents. She's the first woman in American history to see both her husband and her son move into the White House. You know, she was no fan of Donald Trump for a long time, and especially when he was so critical of her son, Jeb, when he was running against her in the 2016 Republican primaries. And she became so upset about both the attacks on Jeb Bush and also the direction of the Republican Party that in June 2016, when it became clear that Donald Trump was likely to be the Republican nominee, she had what she called a heart attack. Now, it wasn't technically a heart attack, but it was definitely a health crisis. Took her to the hospital. She told me that it was because she felt so much angst about President Trump, Donald Trump then, and the direction he was taking the country and the party she had worked for so long. And in fact, she told me in the last interview I did with her, Trump at this point had been president for more than a year. And I said, "Do you still consider yourself a Republican?" And she said, "No." A friend in Kennebunkport gave her a cheap little digital countdown clock that said the days, hours, minutes, and seconds until the end of President Trump's first term. And she put this on her bedside table in Kennebunkport, next to a chair where she would sit and watch TV or needlepoint. And when they moved back to Houston after the summer in that October, she took the clock with her and she put it on her bedside table in Houston. And it was there on the day that she died. Well, Barbara Bush, like many of us, assumed that Hillary Clinton was going to win in 2016. And she had drafted this letter to Bill Clinton welcoming him to the First Ladies Club, kind of a funny letter. You know, they had become kind of friends. Bill Clinton and George H.W. Bush had become pretty close in the years after both of them had left the White House, although they'd been great rivals, of course, in 1992. So she wrote him this funny letter, and she was ready to send it, and then Election Day came, and that letter did not get sent because Hillary Clinton did not win. Mm-hmm. She knew her health was failing. She did not worry, I think, about dying. I think she worried about dying before her husband did. And there came a time, though, that her health was, when it just wasn't possible for her to hold on anymore. She went into hospice care. She and George Bush had a moment toward the end when they met in this small den on the first floor of their home in Houston. And he gave her permission to die, and she gave him permission to live. She said, "I'm not going to worry about you, George." And he said, "I'm not going to worry about you, Bar." And then they had a drink. I think this was an indispensable partnership, and the likes of which we don't often see.